Flames, and welcome back to my channel. As usual, we're gonna get this spacecraft off the ground, okay? All right, so before you can have a cosmic conversation, we have to know etymology, okay? Because we know all of this data is just ripped apart like a puzzle and blown forth by the winds, okay? Throughout the four corners of so-called Earth. So, without that being said, let's get the correct enunciation of our cosmic chat today. Here goes.
Strong's H3882, Leviathan, Leviathan.
Okay, so you know that the so-called Old Testament of the King James belongs to the ancient Hebrews. Okay, that's their book. So the New Testament belongs to the Christian. Okay, so here you go. Who is Leviathan or Leviathan? The correct enunciation, because this is a Hebrew book. I don't know what Christians are doing with this book, okay, other than the New Testament part of it, which is written in Greek and also German and also African tongues and all of these other tongues, because English is a compilation of all of the old ancient tongues, okay? So at any rate, Leviathan. Leviathan is a sea serpent noted in theology and mythology. It is referenced in several books of the Hebrew Bible. Okay, it's included in Psalms, Job, Isaiah, Amos, and in Jonah. Some translations are in Jonah, and also in the book of Enoch. Okay, the Leviathan is often an embodiment of chaos and threatening to eat the damned after their life. In the end, it is annihilated. Christian theologies identify Leviathan with the demon of the deadly sin envy. Okay, that's that learning disability stuff. Okay, deadly sin. What is that? According to Ophite diagrams, the Leviathan encapsulates encapsulates the space of the material world. Now, I'm reading from Wikipedia, of which we are strongly advised to stay away from. Now, that's your call. But everything I've read and or observed in Wikipedia corresponds to my astral projection or ancient memory. Remember, as always, these lessons are for the soulful ones. Not you soulless ones, but the soulful. Okay? So at any rate, we've learned about Leviathan, and now we're gonna get into the etymology of the great anaconda, right? And you're gonna see why I've drawn the comparisons, okay? But before I do so, remember, every cycle, or in layman's terms, or in this learning disability vibration, every generation, which is known as a cycle, but every generation, the names of these gods or these creatures change. Somehow, mysteriously changed. And I'm pretty sure you know why. So, let's get into the great anaconda. All right, anaconda. Anaconda is a lightning stem or a snake whip. It's a python. We know that a python is also known as a great sea fish, a great whale, a great serpent, leviathan, titan boa. So many labels upon cycle, upon cycle, upon generation. Okay. All right, moving right along. What is the Ouroboros? Well, it's the serpent, the worm that eats its own tail, which is an ancient hieroglyph or symbol of the phallus connected to the yoni eternally. Okay, that's the ultimate form of nature of the high vibe beings. And its polar opposite simply means those who F themselves, if you know what I mean. You're always causing yourself chaos. As we've just learned, you're always invoking the spirit of Leviathan. So let's connect everything we've read thus far or observed. The anaconda, the dragon, the Ouroboros, the Titan boa, Leviathan are all the same energy. Okay, they're all labels or name of the same energy. They are just simply they are synonymous one with the other. So you remember watching Bird Box, and the brother said that God, Jesus, Lord, the devil, all of, they different names for the same God or the same being, the same high energy. Okay, so likewise. All right, guys, we're moving right along. Now you know that when you hear the ID or name or label, one and the same. But your consciousness, remember, has ID, ego, so on and so forth. So when you hear the ID or Boris, Leviathan, or a dragon, you know that they're talking about the same ancient deity. Okay? It's called decoding flames. We have to decode this message in order to make it back home. So now we're going to move in. What is the association with Leviathan? We've already covered who Leviathan is. Now we want to know, why does he torment? Why does he torment their children? Okay. So let's go back. Leviathan embodies chaos, threatening the damned. There you have it. Those who chose to stay asleep, who chose to indulge and booch off the system, the matrix. They face chaos. Okay? Who are these who chose to be damned? Those who indulged, are you ready? In masturbation. And I know you're saying, well, we've been taught. Well, that's your business. If you want to heed to this pseudoscience, go ahead. I'm sitting in front of you sharing my astral projections, my ancient memory, and that of others. So let me share this with you. When I was 23, of course, I was still asleep, the walking dead, the automaton. And we are dead because we lack so-called divine feminine, or the divine flame, okay, the fire. And therefore, we have been cast into 3D lockdown, the matrix, prison, Christian hell, religious hell, so on and so forth. So, this avatar, this body. So, I was 23 years old, and I was in the military. And then I thought I was dreaming, but I for the sake of simplicity, I dreamed that this great anaconda broke into my window, and I had to fight it. And we went some rounds, and I annihilated the great anaconda. Okay, how? I removed its pineal gland from its head, and it fell to the floor and died. But it broke into my window. Why? Because I chose sleep. We're supposed to awaken, purify, so that we can illuminate. Okay, we are the luminaries, right? The flame beings. Fire is the light. Okay, fire is light. So that's my astral projection. I'm gonna share this with you. Sister called me the other day. I was out taking care of some business, but she called, and I'm like, let me get this, because I know she's a seer. And she said, we were talking, chitter chatting, and she said, girl, when I remember, when I was in the real world, because we've learned to not say dream, but she said I was in the real world, and she said last night, and she said, girl, this big anaconda, half of it was in the ocean, and the other half was as tall as the sky. And she said, this brother yelled out and said, it wants you to fight. And I said, are you listening or not? I told you about this. I've already shared my experiences with the great anaconda, which is the great one. All right, it's the polar opposite of the great one, or the so-called devil. So, and I said, you're still touching yourself. I say, anytime someone tells me about witnessing or encountering the great Leviathan or anaconda, I know why. You are you are nigh death, blackness. To be black is to like light, okay? You have skeeted out and emitted all of your flame via the ritual masturbation, okay? And she was like, I know, and I've been fighting. And I said, keep fighting. I said, because you have a weakness somewhere. Otherwise, your ancient ancestor wouldn't have stood before you across the sea and told you to fight. Just keep fighting. You know you got this. She was my encouragement because I was like, I can't quit. I can't quit. And Leviathan kept appearing before me. And I was going at it so frequently because I was what? Possessed. Not addicted. Not addiction, but possessed. And my last few times indulging in this high cosmic consciousness, conscious ritual, um, a crocodile head and with an anaconda body and 3 eyes. These eyes were green. 3 eyes appeared in my bed. Okay? And I woke up and I said, oh, will you help me? I said, Great Mother, will you help me to stop? Shortly after that, she came and she helped me. She gave me the energy and strength to defeat that lizard living inside of me, okay? So I've shared our experiences, and other people have let me know that they have let me know that they've encountered Leviathan or the great anaconda or the dragon. And they called me, they said, girl, I saw this nasty big snake in my bathroom. Or in the others would say, I saw it in my husband's bathroom. And I was like, but I knew who it was. And I didn't say anything because this being was still sleeping, was still choosing to sleep. Flames. Everything that we need to know is inside of us. However, the great ancestors and the great one, the great mother dragon, has left all of these clues and lessons out here for us. You can learn about us on billboards and books or movies or books too, in science and your schoolwork. There's fragments of you listed inside of this literature. But ultimately, we are to go inside to get the ultimate, the pure, untainted data about ourselves. All of this data are like puzzle pieces put in or restoring our eye, which is the molten rock in form, okay? Or again, as we call it, the burning sun, the black sun, the so-called black suns, but those are just pseudo labels or IDs, if you will. So, in summary, who is Leviathan? The great mother anaconda, the great mother dragon, Isis, Tiamat, the creator of the real universe, the mother of the sun children, okay? From reading the story about Sophia, we'll get into that. But so we got some kind of, if you don't know yet, then you got some groundwork or foundation that will give you a greater understanding of, and hopefully spark your memory to awaken, okay? All of this is in your Akashic records, okay? Who is Leviathan? The great one in its opposing form. It's shapeshifted. We're all shapeshifters. It's just shapeshifted into its feeding form, okay? The so-called hell, we know it's a state of consciousness. And in this state of consciousness, is the belly or the mouth of the what? Whale, which is Leviathan or the great anaconda. Okay? How do we encounter anaconda? Now, why do the Leviathan exist? Well, again, Leviathan is often an embodiment of chaos and threatening to eat the damned. Why are you damned? You have wasted all of your anointing, or your orgasm, or your divine flame, which is your true essence. Hence the reason you have evoked the energy, the spirit of Leviathan. Leviathan is not going to hurt those whom does not harm themselves. Leviathan is only after the damned. All right. Again, study the nature of the anaconda. Remember, NAT means birth or or incarnation cycle. So, if you have to be eaten and enter into the so-called hell or the mouth of Leviathan, the great anaconda, you are allowed to go through the reincarnation cycle in order to get yourself together. Okay, this is called correction. It's not a punishment. It's correction. I've been through the mouth of Leviathan 18,460,000,000,000 times. I've been through here. I'm not coming back here anymore unless I have to be a watchman. Remember, we are watchmen. We are just fallen watchmen that fell because we ate the fruit. Listening to who? The Tarkin serpent? Okay, we made a decision. We were watchmen. We are in the army of the Lord, or the great one. Okay. So, Flames, that about does it for this cosmic chat. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Again, don't be afraid of your own parent, your cosmic parent, Leviathan, or the great anaconda, or the great dragon, or, so on and so forth. So many labels, so many IDs for this one energy. Also study James Earl Jones in The Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I probably ate that up. Study that energy. Study the shape shifting, the transmutation. Guys, we morph all the time. We were in our moms for 9 months. Then we became this other being. Then we grow up and become this being, and so on and so forth. So don't be afraid when the great one, the ultimate consciousness, the creator of the sun children, shapeshifts into one of her original forms. Study the wavelengths of the ocean. And we know Leviathan comes because we are indulging and overindulging in masturbation, which is the ultimate ritual of transmutation. Okay? Now we know. You are releasing all of your fire, or in layman's term, your blood, to these energy vampires called demons. But now we know them as the lizard soot, the lizard seed. Okay? So upon our ultimate transmutation, we morph into the single eye, the third eye, of the pineal gland, or the burning sun. Okay? All right, guys. Until next Cosmic Chat, get and stay lit.